All right. Well, this is welcome to Tales from the Crypto. This is episode 2.
Officially, it's episode 1 of Tales of the Crypto, though.
Right. It's the first episode with an actual name for the podcast.
Named it without anyone's help. Thanks a lot.
No, well, we didn't have anyone that actually. I think we got. That's true. I think we got 16 downloads in the last week.
That's incredible. That's growth. That's 16. We had 6 for the first one. That's like if you bought something at $6 and the next week it's at 16.
Right.
That's basically what happened with this Monaco thing we were looking at.
Well, I think it was just because we had it under the Jed Bangers. But I think it was too confusing for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have it be its own entity.
Right.
And what the fuck is this Monaco thing?
It's a credit card thing.
Is that what it is?
It's like a cryptocurrency that you could spend with a plastic credit card at places that accept debit and credit cards.
Oh, okay. I don't know. See, the thing has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
In a day.
Everything's going crazy.
Everything's going crazy right now. I just don't for me I don't find that to be so exciting.
Unless you're in it.
Well, unless I had bought into it or whatever. I mean, I'm in a couple things like Quark that I don't even understand.
That happens. Yeah, there's a lot of things I'm getting into too, and I don't know what
Adex is.
It's an ad exchange.
Okay.
What does that mean? I don't even. They're exchanging ads or
commercials,
marketing, advertisements.
All right. Well, we'll
get into some more research.
We'll get into those guys later. So first off, I just wanted to do like a little recap of where we're at and what the news is. Basically, I mean, Bitcoin is at an all-time high.
It's a powerhouse kind of thing. Yeah. It's a juggernaut. Just
2 months ago, when you and I first started talking about this, it was at an all-time high of $2,600.
Yeah,
26,
27, somewhere around there.
And people were freaking out, and I feel like that's the first time, without doing research on my own, that I started to hear people mentioning Bitcoin like in public.
Yeah.
Versus like on the internet, versus looking up seeing it in a documentary or reading an article. Like I heard people actually talking about it like on the street.
Yeah, in restaurants.
Yeah, in restaurants when it was at 2,600.
Yeah, it was a hot topic.
I know, but I think the problem is I think is the same thing that happened the first time when it first came out, which is when Bitcoin first came out. I heard about it, and then I didn't hear anything again until this 2,600
business. So you're saying you heard about it in 2012 when everyone else did?
Sure.
It's at an all-time high, $1,200.
I don't think I heard about it in terms of money. I heard about it in terms of, hey, there's this new thing.
Oh, okay.
I heard about it because of the Silk Road and all that stuff,
right,
obviously.
Right.
But like, there's this new thing. It's a currency. I love how Fonzie's he's gonna come in there now. You want to get up there, Fonz?
Come on, buddy.
No,
we could be friends.
He wants to bark at you when you come in. It's a new thing. It's a new form of money, basically. Mm-hmm. That's what I heard. And you can buy anything with it, and it can't be traced or whatever. That's what I heard. I didn't hear anything about it, like translating into U.S. dollars or Satoshis. Or
people making money off
or people making any money about it. And then I think the same thing happened now, in a way. It's starting to catch up, but at that 2,600, I still felt like a lot of the people that were talking about it just went like, "Oh yeah, but it's gonna go down," or
retrace to like 15, 16, 1,700, which technically speaking, it did.
Well,
for a split second, it dropped down to 1,770, 1,780.
I think retracement. Sorry, I'm picking up the dog here.
Yeah.
I think retracement is like a term that is even too complicated for what I'm trying to say. In the sense of like, I think people still thought, oh, it's at $2,600, but it's going to disappear at any moment, and you're going to lose all your money.
Oh, they still thought it was just going to go to nothing.
Yeah, or just that it would disappear, that it's not a real thing,
right?
And that that it's going to be like the stock market crash or the internet bubble or
the tulip crisis
Yeah.
or the South Sea bubble. There's all these comparisons.
Sure. And then now, 2 months after that, it's like 4,400.
Doubled.
Doubled.
If
Yeah.
you got in and you were like, oh shoot, I got in, it's almost 3,000. It's gonna crash down. What was I thinking? You've made tons of money.
Yeah. You've made like a 25% profit, basically.
Yeah, depending on how much. Yeah, exactly.
So I guess my question to you, and obviously no one knows the answers to these things, and it's all speculation. In the same way that like gold was, is it considered a speculative investment?
Yeah.
Where is Bitcoin headed by the end of this month and by the end of this year?
I mean, I think it's gonna go. It's just gonna go up. I want to say.
Yeah.
It just looks like it had a little activity in 2012. It went up. There was a test. It dipped low, but for a few years it wasn't terrible.
Right.
So people saw that it was still a functioning currency. All it needed was a population to start using it. Gradually there's more and more interest, and then we have what we have today.
Yeah.
I don't think that level of interest is ever going to go away. I think like we're at what 4,500 this morning.
Yeah, I think so. Looking at Bittrex, which is what I use. Well, we're at 4,300 right now, but it's fluctuating between.
Yeah, and I think the more people get involved, the less there's like extreme fluctuations. It just seems like it's gradually going up. I mean, it's probably going to go back down at some point, but then, not to like 2,500, not to like 1,000, less than 1,000. It's like, just seems to be on an upward trajectory. And I think partially it has to do with all the altcoins, all like the other cryptocurrencies, like the Neos and the Ethereums and the Litecoins, what have you.
Exactly.
Like back in the day when it was 2012, the Bitcoin market went up to 1,200, crashed. There was no safe haven for your cryptocurrencies. If you had Bitcoin, there was like 5 or 6 or 10 other ones that no one was thinking, oh, I'll take my Bitcoin when it's at 1,200. I'll put it into this other thing to like kind of save it.
Right.
Or like a tether type thing where the cryptocurrency tether is backed by the US dollar. So if you bought, $4,000 worth of tether and Bitcoin went down to 3,500, you still have $4,000 worth of a cryptocurrency.
Right.
So there wasn't that kind of thing going on.
Well, I feel like we've seen a really good example of that this week by watching when the price of Bitcoin has risen, the altcoins have kind of gone down.
Right.
And then as soon as people take their profits from Bitcoin, they dump it back into these altcoins, and then you see the price of Neo and things like that rising like quickly.
That's happening a little bit. I see a lot more. There was someone I retweeted. It was he was talking about how there's just going to be a few coins here and there that are pumping like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not so much like all of them pumping equally. It's like Bitcoin's going up. People are taking their money out, but they're almost like they're finding the right coins to put it in, and they're all like focusing their Bitcoin on that one coin. So that's why we're seeing these large jumps of like individual coins here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the thing. The thing that sucks is just that there are the ability to create a coin is obviously like really easy when you're seeing all these like Trump coins and porn coins and all
Putin Classic.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm fully
Talking
in
about Putin.
I'm 100% portfolio is Putin
deep,
Classic.
Deep important Putin Classic.
but like that kind of shit,
Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff is just it makes me think of like Pogs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's interesting to watch the ones that have, for instance, like the Adex thing where they announced that they're switching over from Ethereum to Neo.
Yeah.
As far as their partnership goes. And then to watch that
affect the price of the...
in one day.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's been crazy,
It's been jumping up. Yeah, it's like it lets you see how an announcement can sort of sway, the price of a stock or of a cryptocurrency. Or
I wonder why they swithed over
to Neo.
Yeah,
it's to be different. It's to try something new. It seems like.
Well, I was reading. There was a tweet from Mark Cuban that I saw.
Oh yeah, that guy hates Bitcoin.
Well, he doesn't. I don't know if he hates Bitcoin. I think because he's invested in some.
Oh yeah.
Cryptocurrency stuff. I think he's maybe not necessarily hating it, but skeptical, or he's also doesn't want to show you exactly what his true thoughts are on things.
Right.
And maybe he's using some sort of diversionary tactics or whatever.
He's playing 4D chess. You think Mark Humans?
Well, what he said was in the tweet was that like Bitcoin is only valuable until something better comes along, and then it'll crash. You know, a better cryptocurrency or whatever, or better technology.
Yeah.
Which some people are saying is Neo is going to be the new Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's a little too on the nose, though.
I think so too.
Neo.
Yeah.
New Bitcoin. I mean, it's going to be up there. They're all going to have their place, but I don't see any reason why Bitcoin would ever go away. It's like, it's the reason they're all here. It's like the gold standard. Yeah, it's the standard. It makes sense. It's functional. It's the first of its kind. It's leading the way.
I mean, as much as we're on our fucking cell phones and we're like flying through the skies and people are talking about fucking jetpacks and stuff, there's still people like panning for gold in 2017.
Yeah.
There's still people mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So I don't see it going away in that capacity either. So yeah, and then we had okay, here's my other question though then. In the midst of all, like I see OMG, and what is that one again? What was that one?
OmiseGo.
Oh, it's like, yeah, OmiseGo. It's kind of like a Venmo or
it's
like a
Venmo
PayPal
type platform to pay with Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin with for stuff. Yeah.
It's based on Ethereum though, right?
I think it's an Ethereum based. Yeah, it is Ethereum based.
Yeah.
But who knows? They could switch over to Neo. You know, it's like Adex did.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what I'm asking, I guess, is just like I see, like Adex going to Neo. I see OMG, OmiseGo with Venmo, or I'm sorry, going to like using Ethereum blockchain technology. Where is Litecoin in all of this?
Yeah,
because Neo went above Litecoin.
Yeah, Neo and Litecoin are duking it out right now. And there's way more uses, it seems like, for Neo. I mean, have you transferred your Neo to your wallet? It's like lightning fast.
I finally did. Okay, this is what's interesting. And I've been having the dog is going crazy. Here we go. Come here, buddy. Fonzie.
Little Fonzie.
The thing about it is, wait a minute. Blockchain is now supporting Ether. Oh, the blockchain app. All right.
Great. Instant news.
I know.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Blockchain is now supporting Ether. So I had the web wallet, the Neo web, and you know, we're not endorsing any particular crypto, but I had the Neo web wallet because I have a Chromebook.
Yeah.
And the fucking thing is just a pain in the ass. Like,
right.
It just always says like processing. So then I downloaded the Neon wallet onto a Mac, and it worked great.
Flawlessly, yeah.
The first time. And then it started sucking again.
What happened?
It was just not transferring the Neo from Bittrex. And then, of course, it's like I go on Reddit and they're like, oh, you got to download the newest version. And then I saw that there's another new version today.
Maybe I'll update mine.
Because I was having trouble sending Neo from Bittrex the other day too. So now it's like there's a 0.4 version of the Neon wallet right now that just came out.
Yeah.
So I mean,
these things are
it's constantly
advancing.
As much as I want to complain about it, I just kind of like. It's like I said to someone on Reddit. It's kind of like AOL days, you know, where it was just like you try to, or like dial-up internet where you're trying to download like a porno and it's or a photo.
I'm saying someone's areola. It's just you download it all afternoon.
A picture of porno that just like is just slowly like filling your screen for like hours just to see.
Just print it out on your friend's parents' printer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now, just as far as the
slow downloading of naughty picture stage.
Explain to me what you think as far as the Neo gas sort of situation is. What do you think is going to happen with that? What do you think is the point of all that?
The goal of all that? It's to set up a proof of stake mining operation for a cryptocurrency. It's basically in purchasing Neo, you become a gas miner.
Right.
By staking your money, your Neo cryptocurrency in your wallet.
Why is it called gas?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think it's like the air that it's supposed to be used for transactions.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the
Like
unseen
gasoline?
thing that keeps Neo alive. It's like it's used for all kinds of transactions. So there's no fees necessarily, as long as you can accumulate some gas, or you could sell the gas on Binance. I think it's like $35 now.
Right.
But yeah, basically the purpose is to create like a proof of stake mining operation for people that buy Neo that don't necessarily want to get into cryptocurrency mining on the level of buying a processor and buying a computer just for mining, that kind of thing. Like they do with Ethereum. Like people back in the day would buy like little iPads that would have a program that would help them, that would, create Ethereum by mining it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's probably a lot harder because there's more people doing it, but I mean, that's the idea. You buy into cryptocurrency and then it creates, more money for you, whether it's Bitcoin or.
It's like I the way I can kind of understand it is it's like creating interest if you have like a IRA
like
account,
a savings account,
yeah, or whatever. I mean, even though you don't get shit from banks or anything, but I mean, like if you were to like have enough millions of dollars that they were generating interest or whatever,
right,
and that you could just live off the interest. I mean, I think it's like I was trying to figure it out. Like if I had to live off of gas,
yeah,
I think I'd need like 4,000 Neo or something like that.
Well, at current gas prices,
yeah.
What if gas is $200-$300?
Well, then I need like, if I'm making like $300 a month, I need, well, I mean, if each one's $300, then I need like say $1,500 a month,
Yeah. But it's like, then you're living off cryptocurrency, which is cool, which would be crazy.
Yeah.
But like, it's also cool just to get an extra 60, 70, $100 a month. Passively.
No, it's totally cool where it is right now. I just mean, I got about a tenth of where I want to be, as far as that stuff goes.
Well, there's time. There's still time.
The problem with this stuff for me, I think is, I meant to ask you. So, like, what the fuck is going on with Litecoin then? Is anything happening?
Oh yeah, Litecoin. I mean,
the guy's smart on Twitter.
Charlie's, his tweets. He seems really positive. It seems like it's got reached like a new bottom, like a floor level where it's not going to go any lower. But I keep saying that every day. So I don't know. It's got a place here. I think people need to like start utilizing it more.
But what can they utilize it for?
Like some sort of online, like buying something online. It's like, everything that you could do with Litecoin, you could do with Bitcoin. So I don't know.
Apparently Litecoin, to what I understand, Litecoin is just like a faster version of Bitcoin.
But now with this update, I think they're just as fast and just as...
With the fork?
Yeah, with the August 1st...
I mean, and that's the other thing I see is that, this Bitcoin Cash stuff that got kind of written off...
made a little jump today.
Now it's kind of making a comeback too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just hanging out in that 10% of Bitcoin value-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to think if it keeps up with that trend, you see Bitcoin jump up, buy some Bitcoin Cash, because that'll potentially jump up if that's the trend. If it's following Bitcoin by 10%,
right?
Or if Bitcoin goes down, you have a bunch of Bitcoin Cash, it's higher than Bitcoin. At 10%, sell some.
Well, I mean, if you were holding, say you were holding 10 Bitcoin on Bittrex when the fork happened, you made $4,000 right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It's really crazy. Yeah. It's like free money.
Totally. So, I mean, and then that's for me is like, what I see is the problem is like knowing kind of when to get out on some of these things and take your profits just like any other stock or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, that's why I'm like most interested in things like Neo, because when it was Ant shares and we were looking at it when it was $4 and now it's 40, it's between 40 and 50. For me, like looking at like Ethereum being $300 and Litecoin being $40, it seems like a high place to try to get in at.
Right.
If you're trying to day trade it, and you don't have a lot of capital to begin with.
It'd be hard to... unless... Yeah, I mean, it's hard. it's, I mean, all of them are kind of tricky. It's kind of maybe a good place to buy because it's so low. Like for I'm talking about Ethereum and Litecoin.
Right.
You know, they're at a kind of low. It's like, seems like the right time to get in. But with these new markets and the speculation of it all and the deregulated nature of it all, you can't really apply, you know, old school technical analysis to some of these things. Like Litecoin, Ethereum could just be going down forever, and there's never really a great time to get in.
Right.
And you should just go towards some of these new school cryptos like OMG and Neo.
Well, I think it's also a personal thing too, where like you're looking for. I feel more personally invested in like Neo and things like this because it kind of came out closer to when I started paying attention to this stuff and getting involved with it, you know? So there's like there's more of a personal, which I don't think is necessarily the best, you know, idea when you're
way to
when
think
it coming
about a stock or
investments or whatever, is to have a personal stake in it.
Yeah.
But it's just natural, excuse me, to look at the things that are like new and or coinciding with like what your interests are, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're in Neo and then all of a sudden this Adex announcement comes out that they're working with Neo and they switch from Ethereum, you're going to be more inclined to like go after Adex,
right,
than you would OmiseGo per se.
Right, which is what we did. And you know, I took some of my money out of Lisk, put it into Adex.
Well, I dumped all that Civic shit too.
You dumped some Civic.
Yeah, and I mean, fuck, dude, like it's
it.
crazy. Like, let's look at it right now, just because we're here.
We're here looking at the charts.
Adex is like, where the fuck is it at here?
Don't
it's
tell
at
me
253.
250. That's crazy.
All-time high.
We bought into it at 80 cents, 90
around
cents,
80 cents, yeah.
87 cents.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then the other one so the Quark one is also like just going nuts.
Shoot, I should have got into that.
That one's going crazy too, and it's at well, it went from 23 cents to a high of 63, so it tripled in value, and now it's kind of at around
40,
50.
50, yeah. That makes sense. That's what you have to look for if anyone's listening to this. You know, look for a cryptocurrency that jumps up like an insane amount, or it's almost unreasonable, and then it comes down. The price comes down to about half of what that unreasonable amount.
And
is.
also that it's like,
and then it's kind of stable at that.
Well, and also the thing that's.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure. That it stabilizes somewhere in the middle, instead of like that Numeri shit.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck what that was.
That's on the rise, though. I heard some people were talking about, some people that I look up to on Twitter and that can make really good trade advice. They were saying,
you look up to people on Twitter?
I mean, people that make good calls.
Okay.
That's potentially going to make me money. I mean, that's weird to say because it's Twitter and Twitter's so lame. But
yeah.
There's some weird like cryptocurrency nerds on there that are worth following.
No, my friend sent me one that he's not really involved with this stuff, but he knows that we were doing this.
Yeah.
And he sent me this guy that's a big time like poker player, gambler, sports betting guy.
Oh, nice.
And he has gotten into this sort of stuff, but he doesn't day trade. He just kind of
puts it in and waits.
He gets into like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then he just goes like, I'm 70% Bitcoin and I'm 30% Ethereum, and I just kind of hold on to those things, you know.
Nice.
But he has
ways to do it.
But he has a lot of like knowledge as far as like betting goes, and odds and things like that, percentages. And so when people ask him questions about stuff, he's like, he has so much historical knowledge of the way things work as far as like betting and odds and things like that he has really good information when it comes to like
estimations, projections,
exactly. Like even if he's not necessarily.
I mean, I've kind of noticed that too. I used to be like really into poker, a big poker player. That's how I made most of my Bitcoin in the beginning. But yeah, I've noticed there's lots of parallels between. I was mostly thinking about the other day with patience. Like patience is a big thing in poker. Patience is a big thing in trading.
Sure.
So, like you look at all those old school guys. They're always saying like it's better to be patient than to just try to time the market perfectly. And And yeah, with poker, it's the same thing. It's like you could overplay certain hands just because you want to play, just because you want to get in there and play, Jack 10 offsuit, or,
Sure.
A lucky hand, lucky 6-4 offsuit, But if you wait and you're patient, you wait for those aces, you wait for those kings, that's where you make all your money. And it's the same thing with these cryptos. It's like, going all in with fucking Neo seemed crazy at the time, but
Right.
Jed and I did pretty well.
Well, I've had a similar.
Pretty well.
Yeah, no, great for me. Similar. It's funny when I'm like looking at it and going like, I made more money this month doing trading cryptocurrencies than I have in like the last like few years. Just if I took my monthly paycheck from whatever job I was working at.
Right. And the best thing about that is it's savings. It's like you don't really want to spend your Neo. You want to like hodl.
Yeah.
Which is great for people of our generation because not a lot of like millennials, post-millennial, Gen Xers, whatever, they don't have savings.
I don't have savings.
No one has savings in our age group. And this is finally like an opportunity for us to like have a little bit of something to fall back on, potentially.
I just lost $25 sitting here.
Yeah, well, we'll make it back.
Okay, what else was I going to ask you before I'm going to keep asking you before you tell me what you want to tell me.
The recap, yeah.
Let's see, Bitcoin, gold, 2. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's been a fucking crazy like couple weeks, man.
Yeah, everyone listening to this should buy a little Bitcoin, $100 here, $100 there. It adds up. Like, that's a good technique. Like, we should start kind of like spread that. Just if you have an extra $150 around, put half of that in Bitcoin, half of that in some crypto that you've done a little bit of research on.
Right.
Every month, every week, it'll add up.
I've been getting people asking me questions like, "Oh, what do you think about this thing?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't fucking know, man, because I don't know anything about it because there's only so much time in the day." First off,
right.
My suggestions to people when they ask me, and I'm by far the last person to ask for financial advice because
I'm the second to last.
Yes, you're right before me. But I've just been saying, you know what? Just buy some fucking Bitcoin and hold on to that. And if you want to do some research, buy something else. But like, it's easy to get in over your head as far as like the amount of time spent like researching these things and knowing which ones are real and which ones are not.
Yeah.
So like, we have to do we have to start this week with our bet of investing $100 into something and then tracking it and comparing for next week.
Right.
We'll do that at the end of the show. I don't know. We can do that off air as far as like what we decide, and then we'll recap next week when we decide what we're gonna what we actually bought. But I think like, I don't see anything wrong with like taking money that you can afford to lose first off.
Yeah.
And putting that into Bitcoin and just diversifying your money situation.
Yeah, and slowly refining it, just putting more money into things that you believe more in and that make more sense technologically. And
I'm spending too much time on my fucking phone because I'm like looking at prices and trying to day trade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But with the Neo as high as it was, I had to do something. I was maxed out as far as my money, and I didn't want to sell anything because I don't want to sell my Neo. So it's like,
but now it's like your Neo money is making money in other ways.
Yeah, and I had to go look for other stuff, and what that was, luckily so far this last couple of days, is Adex and now maybe, I don't know, Quark, but
Quark looks good.
All right, what do you got, Strider?
News, Bitcoin news.
Yes,
we got I guess in your ballpark, the HBO show Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, Game of Thrones. So you don't watch that show?
I did. I watched it a while ago. It's just gone down.
The whole thing?
I watched I was 4 seasons in, and then
okay.
I kind of.
So you're not caught up though.
I am not, nor will I ever be.
Oh, okay.
At this point,
wow, jeez, I think it's gonna lose follower listeners.
But it's kind of well, no, because maybe we'll gain some. I don't know. We're into
Have you seen The Red Wedding?
I saw The Red Wedding. Yeah.
Have you seen The Battle of the Bastards?
I saw like the mountain snake guy. There was like a mountain guy and like a serpent little dude, and it was so I don't know. It's a soap opera. It's a soap opera, of course, with tits and sword fighting.
So is
and
WWE.
I don't know.
You like WWE, don't you?
I don't know.
You like pro wrestling, don't you?
Maybe when I was like 10.
Oh,
see, that's the thing. When I was 10, I would have loved it. I feel like it's kind of childish to. No, never mind. I'm not
Oh,
going to.
man.
We're losing followers.
Yeah, you're gonna
Twin
kick-
Peaks is great though. It's weird. It's different. It kind of pokes fun at TV as a genre in general.
I gotta watch.
It's really out
I gotta
there.
watch that. I'm just.
But yeah, they hacked it. They hacked some hackers. Some fucking.
What do you think someone did? Someone got into someone's. I mean, you could just easily get in someone's email and fucking see that there
You
was
could
an
do all kinds of
attached
shit. You could make
fucking
a
script.
fake web page, which we should tell people, like a fake web page that says this is Yahoo.com. Sign into your email, but it's Yahoo with like lowercase O's or like zeros for the Yahoo, and people sign in. They put in their passwords into those emails, those
Like
pages.
phishing.
Yeah, and basically, so HBO got hacked, and. Yeah, people wanted what $250,000, like 71 Bitcoin or
in
something?
Bitcoin.
Someone on Twitter was like, "It's only 71 Bitcoin." It's like you need a loan, like.
I know. I love that. I love when it's like.
And they didn't pay. Apparently,
They didn't. I thought they. Oh, they thought they were gonna pay.
they didn't pay, and now there's the next episode of Game of Thrones has been released.
Really?
So everyone's all confused because it's not this week's episode. It's the one in like 2 weeks. So now that
Is
everyone's
it online right now?
I think so. That's what I heard.
Oh, God, I
Either
don't-
the script
I don't
or
wanna-
like actual. Well, people are watching it.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I feel like that's almost not a threat because everyone, if you say anything to someone about Game of Thrones, they'll go like, no, I haven't watched this week's episode yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when I listen to sports talk radio, by the way, I saw the Dodger game last night. I went to the Dodger game last night, and John Doe of the legendary punk rock band X from LA sang there's an Australian X that I actually like even a little bit more.
Yeah.
But sang the national anthem last night. It was one of the most incredible versions of the national anthem I've ever heard.
That sounds pretty cool. As
Amazing
like
singer.
as an Angelino to have John Doe singing at the Dodger.
Exene
Dodger
Cervenka
Stadium.
threw out the first pitch.
That's crazy.
But all I've heard is that she's like a complete insane right-wing person, but I don't know this for sure, but that's what I've read online.
That's what
But
I've
he
heard,
was
yeah.
amazing. Like his voice was I've always liked X. I was not like the hugest like follower, but like and I just didn't realize he's a rad actor too. I didn't realize his voice was fucking amazing. What were we talking about? Okay, so they hacked the Game of Thrones.
Hack the game.
But this is what I'm saying. So I feel like people like I watched this show on HBO, Hard Knocks.
Okay.
It's a football show where they follow the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right on. Okay, I get it.
The end of every episode is all the football players and the coaches talking about Game of Thrones.
Oh my
last
God.
week's episode. And if one of the players hasn't seen it, he's like, shut up. Oh, and so when I listen to like sports on 710 ESPN, John Ireland and Steve Mason have a show. And they basically wait till Wednesday to talk Sunday night's Game of Thrones episode.
Out of respect.
Out of respect for anyone who
all the
hasn't
babies
seen it.
who scream when they hear something that they already know is going to happen. The show's so obvious. It's like people are going to die. Everyone's just going to die. Some people might come back to life.
It's not obvious, though. You don't understand.
I liked the show when it was following the George R. R. Martin script.
Yeah.
I liked it a little more then. And
All
then
right.
at some point
No
they
one
caught
cares
up,
if you like it.
but they caught up with the books. You know, they're making the shows
Yeah,
too
no
fast.
shit.
So there's no new books, and they're just writing out of their ass.
I
They're just writing crazy shit just to
'Cause
get
it's a TV
tits
show.
and blood and
I
like,
didn't read I don't read.
I didn't read the book.
I don't
either.
read, so-
But I just felt like it was coming from a more genuine place with the original, creator of the show being sort of
Yeah,
the
but then it
fundamental.
would have ended sooner.
Maybe it needed to end soon.
No. You didn't see the train battle that just happened, which was fucking kick ass.
Maybe not.
But anyway, so when I'm listening and they start talking Game of Thrones, if I haven't seen, and I'm not even the biggest Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah.
My girlfriend likes it more than I always fall asleep during it because I can't follow anyone's. It's like the creator of Ethereum, Mayim Bialik. It's like the name.
Yeah, the name. There's so many names.
There's so many names that I fall asleep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like Mayim
like-
Bialik.
There's more names than there are cryptocurrencies. It's like,
Exactly.
spend your time instead of memorizing. People. That's my other problem with it. Is people spend way too much time on the show. They're memorizing the names and the connections, and they go have a fucking family tree on their wall. It's like do some research into a cryptocurrency. Person
Okay.
listening to this, like
All right.
spend a little less of that Game of Thrones fictional fantasy time and put it into a real life thing. Like me and your
Dude,
buddy
if
Jen.
you're spending as much time on cryptocurrency as most people spend on Game of Thrones, you will have no friends.
But you'll have a lot of money.
It's true. You'll be just like Mayim Bialik. TV's Blossom.
TV's Blossom.
But so what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
like, if you're on a website and you go and it says like, hey, script from Game of Thrones is leaked, you're gonna get off that website.
You're just gonna avert your eyes and say, "No, my virginal eyes."
Because I always cover I just turn the radio station off if they're gonna talk Game of Thrones if I haven't seen it. So no one's gonna fucking read the script of Game of Thrones. They don't want to know what's gonna happen.
Maybe they don't want to know. Maybe that's opening people's eyes and they're like, "Wait, I really don't want to know. Maybe I should do something better with."
If you ran out on the street, if you read the script of Game of Thrones and you ran out on the street and you started saying, Jon Snow's gonna die when he crosses the wall, like I read it in the thing.
Yeah.
And like, people would beat your fucking ass.
Whoa.
Seriously.
That's crazy.
It's true though.
Just for saying some just for spoiling something?
Yeah, someone would kick your ass.
Whoa. I'd love to spoil that person's Game of Thrones experience. See him
You should
try
go
to kick my
online
ass.
and go do it. All right.
No, I don't care. But yeah, so PayPal this week also one of the PayPal founders, I forget his name at the moment, but he came out and said Bitcoin is basically doing what PayPal never did.
The guy who's the gay
COO.
Trump supporter?
I don't know, maybe.
What's that guy's name? He spoke at the Republican or the convention or whatever. Peter Thiel? Was it Peter Thiel?
It wasn't Peter Thiel.
Okay,
No,
okay.
it was a different guy.
It's his partner probably.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, he basically was like, yeah, Bitcoin's doing what PayPal never could, breaking new highs, reaching new markets.
But PayPal is only a fucking wallet. I mean, it's not a currency.
Not at all, no.
So what in regards to what was he saying that they never did?
Well, they wanted to make it more like PayPal coin, like a cryptocurrency type of thing.
I don't understand why they don't just do that now.
Yeah, I know. They could.
I'm surprised there's not more people like PayPal doing this because of name alone, you would gain a following. Like, you know, Donald Trump gets elected because he's fucking on TV. You know,
people can't stop talking about him.
Yeah,
even right now, Jed is discussing finding a reason to talk about Donald Trump, and I'm making note of that. You know,
exactly,
it's in everyone's collective unconscious.
Exactly. So PayPal, though, if PayPal comes out, then or Amazon coin,
yeah,
eBay coin. You know, if a giant corporation like that comes out with a coin, I would think that people would be
Square coin.
Square,
the swiping.
Oh, Square Reader, yeah. Well, sure. I'm just saying that, like, if you have a name attached to it, that's already because the problem for me is like just looking at some of these things is like I'm like, what the fuck is the OmiseGo? I don't know what that's correlating to. You know,
right? There's no. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put my.
I don't know why they're not doing that.
I'm gonna put my conspiracy theory helmet on and say that the big corporation, the big powers that be, don't want Bitcoin to take off, and so that would be a crazy disruption in the system that's already been in place since before we were born, that everyone's mostly just like adapted to.
Sure.
So I think maybe there's some people being like, hey, don't go there with it because
they think it's a PR nightmare, maybe.
Yeah, they want money in banks, so the banks can use the money to invest in whatever they invest in.
I don't think that's necessarily.
I don't know.
I don't think that's necessarily conspiracy theory at all. I think that's probably exactly what's going on.
Possibly.
But at the same time, I would think that there's got to be from some of these companies or these banks, Citibank, and some of these fucking people. They're investing into this stuff.
Yeah, they're investing in their own Ripple. I think there's a bunch of money from Chase and Ripple.
Yeah,
and
but I also think people are steering away from Ripple maybe because of some of that.
Because the seed that was planted with all of this Bitcoin mumbo jumbo cryptocurrency craziness was we want a decentralized currency that's not controlled by someone other than ourselves.
Right.
You know, we want to be in charge of our money.
Right.
In a way that we don't have to hold it in a bank and let the bank decide what to do with it. And
right.
Everyone should be basically their own bank. You should have a bank on your phone and your wallet, and it's where you have all your assets, and you can send it to people if you want, and you can keep it if you want, and you can invest it in if you want. And it's just like back in the day, people would go into banks. You would go into the banks, fill out some paperwork, and then somewhere in the 90s, there were ATMs, 80s, 90s, whatever, ATMs. And then people would, there's that joke, like, why are you going into the bank? Everything's out here. And eventually it's going to be like, everything's not even in that building anymore. It's like, we're going to evolve to a step where it's like, we all have access to banking.
Well, I mean, the amount of real money that's in a bank, like real money as far as, I mean, paper money.
Right. Like in the safe.
is like nothing,
Right.
compared to like how much fucking
Capital base.
zeros and ones they have.
Yeah,
you know,
in the computer.
just
so.
digital shit. It's
Yeah.
all digital. Already.
It's all digital. It's just their digital. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's they have their own version of a ledger system and Bitcoin and the blockchain that they're using.
I wish we
And,
could
yeah.
see. I wish we could see a little bit more love or action with like patientory.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's a slow build.
Yeah.
But,
Do you want to explain what patientory is? I just find it interesting because I like when things are like specific to an industry.
right. Yeah. So Patientory, it's a crypto asset, cryptocurrency, commodity stake. I'm not exactly sure what it would fall into, but it has to do with the medical industry and having access to your medical records. And it's basically a platform that uses the blockchain technology again to give people access to their medical history.
Right.
So yeah, it's just like a ledger system, like any of these, but it gives people, if you want to look at your medical records, you have a specific code that only you have access to,
Right.
that you can share with your doctor or physician, or or you could just look at yourself. And there's not this necessity for like insurance companies and
Sure.
and AMA.
Well, because like anything else, if all of your medical records are stored in one on one server or one site or area, whatever you want to call it, like anything else, it can be hacked,
right,
and that stuff can be used against you.
right, yeah,
And so having it decentralized and having it having it be encrypted and that only you can access it through, or your doctor or whatever. A lot of this stuff has to do with like what is it, like personal information, privacy,
yeah,
because I think people, the way that the internet's going and the way that online and the digital world is going is that like, and cameras and everything, camera phones and CCTV and all, it's like people's privacy is getting stripped away.
Right. Some 1984 kind of stuff.
Like at an insane light speed.
Right.
That you
Faster
can't even
than ever.
fathom.
Yeah.
There's probably video of us doing this right now somehow.
A refrigerator.
That refrigerator.
No.
Not that refrigerator. But like, for instance, I have this fucking like web.
Oh, you got to tape that up. I tape mine up.
Yeah.
Put a little tape on it.
Yeah. I do sometimes.
I mean,
I put tape over my webcam for about 2 minutes every day.
Better safe than sorry. Just a couple minutes here and there.
But you know what? Even if you put the tape over it, I mean, they can film you whacking off. Obviously, is what we're making fun of.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's like that Black Mirror episode where the guy, he's like looking at like child porn or something like that, and it films him or something like that. But even if you have the tape over there, that your ISP and all that stuff is still recording all the websites that you're going to.
That's why you get Mysterium, that new cryptocurrency that's a decentralized VPN. A VPN, for those that don't know, is sorry, I'm shilling all these coins, but it's a podcast. What are you going to do?
We're not shilling. We're just like, it's funny. The last thing I typed in here was patientory, actually.
It's a VPN is basically it doesn't send your user history, your search history, your passwords. It doesn't send that back to Google so they can make their analytical data and sell it to people. A VPN like just changes your IP address, so you're less traceable. And Mysterium is a cryptocurrency that's going to attempt to create a decentralized VPN so that people can sign into a VPN. No one runs it. It's all decentralized. It's autonomous, and they could have a VPN without worrying about someone selling their data.
That's all well and good.
Privacy.
I just don't see Mysterium doing anything right now.
Right now, maybe, but
it might.
Once more people are like, yeah, I want some privacy. I want a little more privacy. That would be, if it works, that would be great.
I mean, I think privacy is going to become its own currency. Yeah. I mean, the more
Civic is all about that. Too.
Yeah, the more that you can create anonymity for yourself via your computer, your phone.
Which is, guess what, another thing that the government doesn't necessarily want you to do.
Right.
They want all the Edward Snowden information just coming in constantly so they know where everyone's at.
Right.
You know.
Well, I
know.
mean that people always talk about. I mean, I'm not saying anything new here, but people talk about the government implanting tracking devices on people or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think like walking around with a fucking cell phone in your pocket is?
Yeah, it's like
it's fucking a satellite hooked up to a GPS that knows exactly where you are at all times.
All the time. Yeah.
So if some fucking
you don't need a microchip. You're carrying around a microchip.
That's what I'm saying. You're carrying around your
yeah.
fucking microchip on you already, and say some foreign government was to hack into the satellite, and they wanted to specifically target a person, they could track you down via that
app
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not saying anything new here, but
no, but
I mean that's what
it's something to think about.
It's something to think about when it comes to cryptocurrency, and it's something to think about with privacy, is because the whole idea of this shit is to own your own fucking
wealth, your money. Yeah. Not have anyone having control over what you rightfully earned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty good for the week.
Think that's good?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Touched on a lot of stuff.
No, I think that's good too. That's a good tight 45.
Nice.
I'll say if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at Real Crypto Tales. You can follow us there, and then you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. If you're listening to it, you're probably hearing it on iTunes, but I think it's on other things too. Whatever your podcast player is, if you just search Tales from the Crypto, you'll find it.
So our Twitter name is Crypto Tales, or
at Real
Crypto
CRYPTO Tales.
At Real Crypto Tales.
At Real Crypto Tales. And you can follow us there. We have 6 followers right now.
Hell yeah, we do.
So we're trying to get more. So follow us on that.
We're gonna do some giveaways too at some point. Give away some Neo for our 1,000th follower. So get in there.
Yeah, let's do that.
Or maybe our 10th follower. I don't know. We'll do a random Neo giveaway to one of our first 100 followers.
Okay, let's do that.
Random amount and random user.
I like that idea. And then next week we will probably have some information on what we've invested in.
Yeah,
at that point
we'll have a little contest and investment activity.
All right.
So, catch up on.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, Jed.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, thanks for listening.
See you next time.
All right, later.
Bye.